So, anybody out there ever eaten at PaneraBread? One of my viewers reminded me that this is the place that made those super deadly lemonades that had like ginormous amounts of caffeine in them. Like this large ice cold lemonade has like 800 grams of caffeine. I mean, that's crazy. You know, when you drink coffee, you're sipping, right? Because it's so hot. And I think your average cup of coffee has between 150 and 200 milligrams of caffeine. Now, that's brewed coffee. Instant is going to have less. So you're sipping a cup of coffee slowly. Meanwhile, this PaneraBread is serving up large ice-cold lemonades that you're going to suck down because you're eating all this dry bread. You know, you got to moisten things up a bit there. So you're sucking down this lemonade in one sitting in a very short period of time that has as much caffeine as like 5 cups of coffee. So a bunch of people had heart attacks. And I think this is the place that was serving that, what became known as the killer lemonade. Well, now they're in the news again, but for graft, for bribery, for corruption, allegedly, as California just recently passed a $20 minimum wage. But for some unknown reason, which isn't unknown, they made a huge donation to Gavin Newsom's campaign for re-election. But for some unknown reason, that's supposed to be unknown, but we really all know why, they got an exemption. It's interesting how that works. All their competition isn't getting an exemption, so McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's are going to have to pay $20 an hour, but PaneraBread, they're off the hook. I guess Wendy's and McDonald's didn't make the appropriate donations, allegedly, to Mr. Newsom's campaign. So let's watch this short video, and then we can get into the text of the story if this video doesn't have all of the information in it. By the way, what's the justification for that? Why is PaneraBread off the hook? So everybody should have to pay a $20 minimum wage. Yeah, I'm Gavin Newsom. I'm a big, giant commie, pinko socialist scumbag. I believe in spreading the wealth around, and that includes ginormous minimum wages. Yeah, so that the poorest, most unskilled have no way of ever getting experience, because there's no employer going to hire people with no skills and no work experience at $20 an hour right from the start. So they'll never get jobs, and they'll be dependent on the state forever, which is probably what a lot of these woke socialists want. But yeah, everybody else has to at least get paid $20 an hour, except people that work at PaneraBread. I don't know how that works. Well, I think we do know how. California's Fast Food Accountability and Standards Recovery Act, FAST. These politicians love their acronyms. Includes an unusual carve-out that exempts chains that bake bread and sell it as a standalone item. So he just put in there baking bread, right? Because PaneraBread bakes bread, and none of the other fast food chains bake bread. So, that makes him exempt without him actually, putting PaneraBread in there. Why does this exemption exist, by the way? I mean, why would they get an exemption from, I don't understand. What's the justification, though? It's a minimum wage, right? So it's across the board, right? Why would you get it? I don't understand. Why would you get an exemption because you bake bread? What the? I don't understand. Oh, right. They donated to him. California governor reportedly sought the exemption, which benefits Greg Flynn, among others. Him and bakers. exemption was part of the sausage making in politics. Ha! Ha! I got to get me my kickbacks. I got to get me my donations in exchange for favors, but there's no quid pro quo. Oh, no. Lovely. This guy. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're not even trying to hide their corruption. PaneraBread exempt. Isn't that great? Huh. Yeah, that's just lovely. And it went from 16 to 20. 16 seems pretty high. I think here in Arizona it's like $12.50 or $13 an hour or something. Fast Food Accountability and Standards Recovery Act. Newsom sought the exemption, yeah, which benefits his buddy, yeah, who's a billionaire. I wonder how he became a billionaire in California. Yeah, I wonder. Exemptions like that. Flynn, who attended the same high school as Newsom, yeah. I think was all this in the video. In 2014, Flynn, who was the largest franchisee in the U.S. with thousands of brands. So he's, oh boy, including Applebee's, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Wendy's. Okay, whoa. Acquired a Napa Valley resort that was managed by Newsom's hospitality firm. Whoa. Flynn has a net worth of $1.1 billion. Nice. He's donated at least $164,000 to Newsom's campaigns that we know of. Those are donations. What about the under the table stuff? You know, this is kind of like the illegal aliens that come into America. We know about the ones that have been encountered at the border, but we don't know how many ones have gotten through without being encountered, right? I think that the amount of illegal aliens in America is over 40 million now. Forget that 20 million number. We don't know how much money he's kicked back to Mr. Newsom, given to Newsom under the table that might now be occupying some space in Mr. Newsom's mattress. Post saw comment from Flynn, Newsom, and PaneraBread. Flynn told Bloomberg News that he played no role in crafting the bread exemption. Yeah, I really believe that. Oh, yeah. Newsom told reporters last month that the exemption was part of the sausage making in politics. So he's trying to justify it. Well, you know, this exemption is just the way things work. Yeah. Michael Korsmo, head of the National Restaurant Association, told an industry conference last year that everyone's scratching their head about the bread exemption. That was just thrown in there so that it wouldn't be as obvious that it was meant specifically for PaneraBread. All right. By the way, if you want to get around this, couldn't you just start baking bread? I mean, how hard is it to buy a bread baking oven? Couldn't all restaurants just start serving baked goods? You may be celebrating or you may be lamenting the bakery exemption. No, I'm lamenting the minimum wage, which shouldn't exist in the first place, because the absolute minimum wage is $0. Korsmo was quoted as saying by Bloomberg, but remember, all of that comes through relationships. Yeah, that's really what politics is in the end. The governor's office told Bloomberg News that the laws was the result of countless hours of negotiations with dozens of stakeholders over 2 years. Dozens of hours of negotiations. Yeah, about what? How much money they could get put into their hands to, draft an exemption that would let all these stakeholders off the hook. I see. Well, we'll let the businesses that they have stakes in off the hook in regards to this ridiculous $20 an hour minimum wage. Flynn was publicly critical of the legislation when it was first floated in 2022. Well, that was before the bread exemption. He said that raising the minimum wage of fast food workers would have an adverse business effect on franchise owners. Really? How's that? I thought that the minimum wage didn't put people out of work. It didn't cost businesses anything. They just could. All they'd have to do is raise the cost of their product, right? No big deal. Flynn quietly lobbied Newsom's aides. Oh, but he supposedly had no hand in crafting this legislation, Mr. Newsom, to reconsider whether PaneraBread can be considered fast food. Wait. It's not fast food because it's not as fast. I don't understand. What's the metric for fast to call it fast food? Wouldn't you, to be able to come to that conclusion, need to define what qualifies as fast in regards to the cooking and serving of food? Did you create such a metric? No. How can you say it's not fast food? What is fast food? Do you have a metric? Do you have a time? Under 5 minutes? If it's under 5 minutes, it's fast food. If it's over 5 minutes, it's not fast food. I've been in some fast food places where I waited 20 minutes. That's not fast. I don't get this. The exemption for bread sellers was inserted into the legislation after the union. Now this is starting to make more sense. The union that probably also donates to Mr. Newsom, that was pushing for the hike in minimum wage, accepted it as a concession aimed at getting the governor's support, the report stated. By the way, isn't it a bunch of rich, yuppie momos that go to PaneraBread? Don't the more hoity-toity, upper middle class people eat at PaneraBread? People get no problem paying $15 for a wrap with 2 ounces of chicken in it. This place charges more than Burger King, yo! They can't afford a $20 an hour minimum wage. But a place located in the hood with $3 burgers should have to pay it? Well, that's why, though, right? Yeah. Anyway. Earlier this month, Chipotle executives warned the consumers in California should expect to see significant price hikes due to the minimum wage hike. Of course! Duh! I love this. So, people argue that we need to raise the minimum wage so that people make more money, not understanding that if you raise the minimum wage across the board, then the cost of all goods and services go up. So while you might be making more money, you're also having to spend that extra money on more expensive goods and services, so they cancel each other out. You idiots! Oh, boy. So, in the meantime, there's less jobs to go around for everybody. Oh, but minimum wage is good for the poor people. No, it's really bad for them, actually. Anyway, Jack Hartung, Chipotle's chief financial and administrative officer, told investors on earnings calls that the price hikes are necessary to keep up with increasing labor costs. Yeah. Of course, you're in Commiefornia, don't you know? Communism. Centralized control of the economy. We're already there, people. California is already there anyway. McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczynski warned in October that the Big Mac maker would also need to hike the price of its menu items in California. The chain has increased prices nationwide amid rampant inflation. Yeah, that's also supposedly to help the poor guy. We gotta pay all these wonderful social welfare programs, and we gotta send hundreds of billions of dollars to the Ukraine too, because they're poor as well, and we have to fight Russia for more reasons, including charging $18 for a Big Mac meal. Oh my God. $18? I remember when a cheeseburger was $1. You walk into McDonald's with a $10 bill, you walk out with 10 cheeseburgers. I remember you could get a non-cheeseburger for like 65 cents or something. Then you would buy a bunch of McDonald's burgers, and then you would go home and you would put your own cheese on them. Have a big party, and you can fund it with McDonald's burgers. Not anymore. Can't gorge yourself on those yummy silicone patties anymore. Oh no, not unless you got lots of cashola. Earlier on Wednesday, PaneraBread agreed to pay $2 million to settle a class action lawsuit that accused the chain of misleading customers about fees and menu prices for delivery orders. Yeah, they had a lot of controversy. They seemed very corrupt. They seemed to have a lot of issues. First, they got their killer lemonade. Or was that Yeah, wasn't that the PaneraBread? You got the killer lemonade. Now you got class action lawsuits. Now you got graft and bribery. In California, trying to dodge the minimum wage law. I thought that you rich liberals were for the poor guy, yo. Why would you want to dodge paying a minimum wage? Because you're not for the poor person at all. You just want to keep people as poor as humanly possible. And that's what the minimum wage helps do. It doesn't enfranchise or enrich anybody. It just makes people that much poorer, reduces the number of jobs, reduces the number of people who can get work experience to begin with. Lovely. What a wonderful idea. The minimum wage. Yep. Another way to keep people down and poor. Increase the cost of goods and services, and the cost of living goes up more than the increase in the minimum wage, and people just get more and more broke. Except for Mr. Newsom and the CEO of PaneraBread. So there you go. There you go. Some more brilliant governance by this Democratic douchebag, moron, socialist here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a good thing? Is this a wonderful thing? $20 an hour minimum wage. Only if you're economically illiterate. Or is it exactly what I said? Just another plot, another policy, another way to keep people down and out and exclude the poorest of us from ever getting experience required to get a foot in the door and to actually make ever more people dependent on the government. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you had not already, where I am Bachelor Philosopher. You can also find me on BitChute and Rumble, where I am the realist philosopher. And if you really like the raw, red pill, in your face way that I tell the truth, baby, maybe you'd like to consider supporting me on Patreon. I know a lot of people don't like Patreon, but there's not a lot of options out there right now. So if you want to look past the fact I'm using Patreon, support me there. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's a per-piece platform that I have set up there. Make 8 pieces a month. So you donate $1, it's $8 a month, 50 cents, $4 a month, and you can cap that, by the way. Any amount is greatly appreciated, I might add. You know, and we human beings are incentive-based beings, so your support helps incentivize me and helps assist me to make more content. So please consider supporting me there if you would. You can also drop a super chat. So those are open and available. You can do that as well. And on that note, I am out of here. I am Bachelor Philosopher, also known as the Realist, and I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.